Hello Internet, I'm Matt Haas and this is Awesome Wood Things. This is the must-see assembly tips for the X-CARVE. So right off the bat there are about a few things overall that you need to know. First, the documentation on the Inventables website is very good. You'll see an area with 18 different pages of instructions broken up into 18 chapters, for lack of a better word. The first and the last one are, it's an intro and a let's carve. So there's 16 critical steps. I'll mention these steps throughout the video. You should watch the video and follow along with the printed text and photos during assembly. The videos leave out some things on the written material and vice versa. So make sure you do both and keep your sanity. The second overall piece of advice is to pay attention to the item numbers of all the screws and all the individual pieces. The way it's named is mostly identical between what's printed on the bags and what appears online. But keep your sanity and make special note of the item numbers when you go to grab something. For example, the M5 by 10 button head cap screw is very similar to the M5 12 button head cap screw and the 20. So usually there's just one little thing that's missing, and something that's 12 millimeters and something that's 10 millimeters looks at first glance very, very similar. So you don't want to go 50 steps into the process and realize you have to take out screws that you've used before, because make no mistake, your kit will come with exactly the correct number of parts. Well, most likely the exact correct number of parts. You will not have extra parts, most likely. So if something falls off the table and you can't find it, you'll have to make a phone call. So make sure to the best you can your environment is set up so you don't lose anything off the table. So those are two quick general tips. And now we'll get into some of the issues that I ran into while building. There weren't many, but you'll definitely want to stick around so you don't go through the same thing I did. Okay, the first tip has to do with the maker slides in the gantry section of the assembly when you attach them to the Y plates. The video does not say grab the maker slide with the X-CARVE logo on it, but the written material does. So guess what I did? I attached these pieces of maker slide, because there's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're all the same dimensions. One has the logo on it, so grab the maker slide with the logo when you attach it to the Y plate in the gantry section. Tip number 1. This next tip has to do with the 23 version motors, the more powerful, larger motors. The photos, there is no video for this yet on the Inventables website, but the photos have this piece upside down on the instructions. So don't install it upside down, install it like this, right side up. All of the maker slides have a groove on the outside, and with the exception of the maker slide that has the logo on it, the rest are all black, and you can install this groove on the bottom. In other words, this could be rotated around the wrong way. This is only important if you have limit switches like this right here. So this limit switch has to crash into this screw, and the screw goes in that recess. So make sure this groove is in the top side of the maker slide when you're assembling all 4 of your maker slide pieces. The next tip has to do with the length of the black and white wire that come from your limit switches. The kit had considerably more wire than I needed, but I followed the instructions and cut them down to the lengths that were mentioned in the instructions. But in hindsight, I wish I would have left myself some extra room. So you can probably add 1.5 feet longer on the distances of these black and white wires going to your limit switches, and I would do that because then the power supply can go further away, which would be more flexible for you. For the belting, you'll want to get yourself some heat shrink tubing. Now, I didn't apply the hairdryer to mine just yet because I'm giving the belts a couple days to acclimate to the temperature in the shop here, because they might loosen up. But in any event, you'll want to make sure this bottom piece never slips, and heat shrink tubing is a good way to do that, so make sure you do that. And finally, for goodness sake, get yourself some better cable management than what I have here. I do plan on doing that, but I was just so anxious to fire this sucker up and get playing with it that I didn't quite do that yet. So yeah, additional cable management for all of this spaghetti strands will certainly help. And that's it. Again, don't be intimidated by the instructions. It is very doable. Things are broken down into logical steps. Follow the instructions in the sequence they were given. Don't jump ahead. You might regret it because, you know, things build off of each other and assume things are done and need to fit and whatnot. So go the sequence that is prescribed in the instructions. All right, happy carving. Take care.